I think we all can agree that Overhaul's plan has effectively been disarmed, and he is definitely going to need a hand for the rest of his life. Okay, pun intended, but oh man, oh that was crusty. So anyways, this chapter of Boku no Hero Academia, man, oh man, this was a good chapter. And you want to know why? Because once again, the League of Villains, they are showcasing how much they have developed. Horikoshi is showing how much he loves to focus on our other characters besides just the MC. And just the development in general is amazing. And this is a beautiful chapter because once again, you can look at this chapter as setup for the end game. Because one of these days, there's going to come a time to when Izuku is going to have to step up and face Shigaraki. And it's going to basically be the symbol of peace versus the symbol of evil, which is Shigaraki, which is going to be amazing. Because this is being built up for a very long time. Shigaraki is Izuku's nemesis. He is someone that is like a parallel, going down like a similar line, what Izuku is, but the villain path instead of the hero path. And one of these days, their lines are going to converge, and then they're going to just face each other and try to take each other down. And that's what's going on here with this chapter. So let's talk about the details. Number one, what Shigaraki just did to Overhaul and what Mr. Compress did as well. That was savage. It was straight savage because this lets us know that Shigaraki just ended Overhaul. Like, he just ended this man. And it was, in a way, probably one of the best ways to end Overhaul's character because, you see, here's a couple of things that could have happened Overhaul. Either A, he was going to go to jail and end up in the same prison somewhere to, All for One and Stain, and one of these days there was going to be a big prison outbreak arc, and all these big villains are going to escape, and the heroes are going to have to take them down, and for instance, we're going to have rematches with all of them. It's just a big thing that's eventually going to happen. And so, that's A. That's what could have happened. Overhaul could have been brought into the prison, and then one day he was going to be able to get out. Now, B was the possibility that he was going to, probably get out himself before he went to prison. There might have been something else he had planned to get out of this. Now, if it wasn't that, he was going to die. The League of Villains were probably going to kill him. And we would assume that could possibly be the case, since, Shigaraki obviously does not like Overhaul. We've known that since, the beginning when these two first met, that Shigaraki, he does not like this man. We know, and he even said in this chapter as well. He emphasized he hated Overhaul so much. And another path it could have took after this chapter, actually, this is the new path that popped up, is that there is a possibility. I just want to throw this out there. This is a possibility. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen, but this is something that opened up thanks to how this chapter was concluded. We know Eri, she's very broken, and she has the ability to heal people or rewind things. So there could be a possibility that Eri could, since she has trauma, she's traumatized by, Overhaul, that she might fix Overhaul. She might bring his arms back into existence. Something like that could potentially happen because of her trauma. Or Eri could fix Overhaul because she has moved past that trauma and she doesn't want this man to suffer. And she doesn't want to, have him suffer because she's the type of person that doesn't like people to suffer around her. That is also a possibility. But I want to leave that there for now because I don't know if that's going to happen. But let's talk about what Shigaraki did. I think what Shigaraki and Mr. Compress, or just the League of Villains in general, what they just did to Overhaul's entire operation was probably the best way to handle it. Horikoshi did a very good job with how he handled the conclusion of this, arc, the villains in this case, because Overhaul, seeing him done in kind of by Shigaraki, it was a very good way to handle it, because obviously this permanently removes Overhaul from the story. Depending on Eri, if, he gets fixed or not, but for now, though, he's permanently removed. There is no possibility that this man will ever be able to step up and do anything ever again like he was doing a couple of chapters back, because his overall quirk is gone. We know Overhaul's quirk is based on his hands. If he doesn't have his hands, he can't restore and destroy things. So, it's over. He can't do anything more. He's a man without any arms. He needs a helping hand to be able to survive in this world now because he doesn't have any hands. So, Shigaraki, savage, because number one, what Shigaraki just did to this man was a fate worse than death. And it's very ironic in a way and poetic how Overhaul's end was done in this chapter. He lost his quirk. He lost his quirk. He was a man that said that quirks were a sickness. They were disgusting, they were a sickness, and he did not like how heroes were and how they thought they were someone else when they would be someone completely different without their quirk. And in this case, Overhaul is learning it the hard way. He is learning how it feels to lose his quirk, and so he's getting a taste of his own medicine. And this right here, it's such a dark way to end his character, but I personally really do like what Horikoshi did. I think we can all agree that it was a great way for Shigaraki to show that he just stepped on Overhaul like he was just a stepping stone and moving on up the villain ladder while Overhaul's just falling down the stairs and just tumbling down. Just think of that mental image in your mind. That's basically what he just did. So just good stuff overall. And I do like how Mr. Compress, how he just got his, vengeance as well. This man went in and he compressed Overhaul's arm. He compressed his left arm and just, looked at him holding, like, his compressed little arm and all that. That was messed up. I'm like, yo, this man, like, he was really angry. When you just see that man do that, you're like, oh, man, you don't want to get on this man's bad side, because if he can do something like that to someone's arm, just imagine what he can do to other parts. Like, he could possibly just rip you in half, compress, like, half your body. That's terrifying. So, Mr. Compress, his quirk is pretty scary, now that you really think about it, after seeing it in action, all that. That's pretty scary. That's a legit scary ability. So, moving past that, let's back up, okay? Let's just back up to the beginning of the chapter now, because I kind of already talked about the ending of the chapter. I want to back up. So, the chapter opens up with Toga and Twice talking to Shigaraki on the phone. And also talking to, Mr. Compress as well. And in this case, when the conversation happened, we get to see how Toga operates. We get a little bit more insight to her character, or characterization, so to say. We know she is a serial killer. She is someone that goes around and she killed a bunch of people. She's psychotic. Well, we know Toga is that type of person. And obviously, after what she has done in her life, she would probably have learned a thing or two of how to evade the police, or the police pattern and stuff, how they operate. In this case, that's what happened. When she was talking to, Mr. Compress on the phone, she was using her own knowledge that she's had prior from before she joined the League of Villains to be able to help out Shigaraki. So, once again, this is showing how Shigaraki, he is gaining these new chess pieces, and it's benefiting him for he can operate and more efficiently and get things done. It's exactly what All For One said to him. Like, he needs to be able to have a motive, he needs to have conviction, he needs to be able to use them like pieces and operate like an actual, shogi master, or anyone that's, master of like a chessboard. He needs to be able to effectively use his pieces, and that's what's going on here. He's using Toga to her best abilities. He knows how she operates, and so he's using that for he can get information and then eventually track down the van which was carrying Overhaul, the serum, and all of that. So that's really cool. I like how that little detail was done. Horikoshi slipped that in there, and I feel like many people might actually forget about that or not even see that or notice it, of what Horikoshi actually did for Toga's character. Now, I feel bad for Twice, by the way, or Jin. I feel bad that the man is sitting there having like a freak out, because as we know, he likes to have a suit on to keep his, self in. He doesn't want to like split, and you see him freaking out and all that. He's like fighting with his mind and all that, his split personalities, which is very sad. And so this man, he needs to get a mask or something on very soon, because the poor man's just having a mental breakdown in this chapter. So please, Toga, give this man some, like cover. Get him like a bandana or something. Please do that for him. So, moving past that, let's move into Spinner and Dabi. So Spinner and Dabi, they pop up in this chapter, and it's been a while. It's been quite a while, actually, since we've seen these two characters have a good spotlight in Boku no Hero Academia. Now, Spinner is one that's gotten probably the least amount of, like, screen time or panel time in the series out of all the League of Villains, and then Dabi's right after that. And Spinner, As we know, he's basically like a lizard, and he looks very similar to Stain. He's a Stain fanboy, and, I mean, it's understandable why he's a Stain fanboy. Apparently, this man, the reason how he's able to drive is through playing video games, like Grand Theft Auto, and I'm like, are you serious, Horikoshi? Like, you legit just reference GTA. I just couldn't help but laugh at how this man was actually using his knowledge from games to drive. This man's driving like a maniac and all that. I guess it makes a lot of sense, because GTA is a game focused around running away from the cops and stuff, so seeing him having the ability to run away, it's pretty funny, because it's ironic that that's exactly what the game is about, and that's what he was doing in real life, or at the very least in the manga. So yeah, Spinner, I like this character in this chapter, and I liked how, you know, Shigaraki once again was like, hey, you know, this is for Stain and all that, this is Stain's conviction, you know, just there has to be some sacrifices for the, you know, the greater, you know, goal, and so that's what he was telling Spinner, and Spinner, you know, is like, okay, and so they carried on. So let's talk about Dabi. So Dabi's overall character, there's a lot of mysteries, there's a lot of theories about his character, and I know about the theories, and I'm not going to take credit for them. I know about the theories when it comes to him possibly being, like, you know, the son of Endeavor or whatever. I know all these different theories. They've been out there for a very long time, for months, and actually over a year now, but even then, though, I'm not going to get into that. Dabi is a character that is just a mystery, and seeing him once again in this chapter, showcasing his, like, you know, epic style and how he handles problems around him, I just like that. He's also someone that's kind of, like, always smack talks back to, you know, Shigaraki. He doesn't, like, be passive. He actually says what he wants to say. He says it like it is. And I do truly like that from his character, because it allows us to see that Shigaraki and Dabi are always going to be having these debates between each other, but which is really cool. I can't wait to see when, you know, Dabi finally actually warms up to Shigaraki and probably respects him completely. That's going to be a crazy day when that eventually does happen. So a fight happened. Dabi actually went up against this sand hero. I forget his exact name, so forgive me on that. But he went up against this sand hero that's able to, like, turn his body into sand, which is, in a way, very OP. It reminds me a lot of Crocodile from One Piece, and I guess it's because I've been watching a lot of One Piece recently, you know, rewatching the anime. But it reminds me a lot of Crocodile, and I'm like, that's really cool. I just love sand powers and stuff, and see how he was actually a perfect counter to Shigaraki was pretty scary, actually, because when you think about it, Shigaraki can't really grab, like, clouds of sand, so he can't necessarily destroy that, so yeah, that's pretty cool how he was able to counter Shigaraki. Shigaraki couldn't do much to him, but Dabi was able to actually attack him and all that, and apparently his entire body doesn't turn to sand, so he could actually potentially die, thanks to what Mr. Compress did to him when he compressed him into a little ball. So yeah, it was really cool. I like that little fight and all that, seeing Dabi showcase, you know, his self and all that, and also finding out that he has been, doing a lot of things similar to what Toga does, going around hurting a lot of people, killing people, being heinous. So apparently this man is, yeah, he's been doing a lot of stuff. I wonder if we're going to get an update on that very soon, what exactly he has been doing. But that's about it. I mean, that's basically what this chapter of Boku no Hero Academia is about. It's a very good chapter, as you can see. Very happy. It just brings joy to me just to see the League of Villains getting all this characterization and development. So I'm going to end it there. So tell me your thoughts. How do you feel about Overhaul? What happened to him? How do you feel about, you know, how he lost his hands and all that? Please be honest in the comments below. And if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. And if you like this video, please leave a like. Love you guys. Please be safe. Chibi out.